everybody, Mr. Traveler here, and thank you so much for tuning in today. This will be my last video on this series about passports, but probably will be the most important video of the series. First of all, if you would be so kind, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live or upload videos. We thank you so much for all the love and support. So today's video is going to be about what do I do if my passport is lost, stolen, or if I've applied for a passport and it has not arrived in time for my trip. What do I do? So we're going to tackle all those questions right now. First of all, I need you to write down this number because it's going to be very important, and make sure that I would put it in the phone some kind of where you can have access to it. It's 877-487-2778. And that number is going to be useful for a couple of different things. So first of all, before we even get started about what happens if it's lost, stolen, or it doesn't arrive in time, let's talk about if you do have your passport in hand and you're getting ready to go on your trip. The best tip, best advice that I can give you is to make sure that you take a photo and or a video of your passport. You want to have the declaration page with your picture and all your information, and you want to make sure that you grab the page that has the barcode information on there. That's very important to make sure that you have copies of all that stuff. That will help you greatly just in case you do lose or have your passport stolen. So make sure that you take a picture and put it on your phone. Take a couple pictures. If you're a husband and wife, put them on both phones just in case you lose one of the phones. You know, this is another one of those situations where being repetitive is not repetitive enough. So you're overseas and you want to be safe, make sure you take those pictures and or videos. All right, so let's tackle the I've applied for the passport and it hasn't arrived in time for my trip yet portion of these questions. What can we do? All right, so if it's 6 to 14 days before your trip, you want to call that 877 number that I gave you, and you want to let them know, hey, my trip is coming up in a week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be. Can you please check on the status of my passport, and can you please make sure that we'll get it in time? So that'll be step one. If it gets to the point where you are 5 days or less away from your trip, now you're going to want to call that same number and you're going to want to make an appointment for one of the passport agencies. So you're going to have to figure out where that's at. Down here in Florida, if you're coming for a Florida cruise or leaving out of Florida for a trip, is down in Miami. That's the main one is down in Miami. But they're located throughout the country. So call that number, see where the nearest one is to you. You must make an appointment using that phone number. More than likely, if you just show up at the passport agency, you're more than likely not going to get serviced. You must have a appointment. And please, as a reminder, when you're doing your passport applications, please keep in mind the countries that you're going to and check the requirements for that country when it comes to passports. Some countries require you to have at least 6 months of validity at the front end of your passport and or 6 months of validity after you return home from your trip. And really the post-trip is having the 6 months of validity at the end of your passport is really more common than anything else. But you want to make sure where you're going, make sure that the passport you're getting is going to fit within those parameters and make sure you're not going to have any problems. We were on a flight to Spain and there was a couple whose passport expired in 4 months and they were not even allowed on the plane. So they got denied boarding in Miami. It's very important that you check out the information for the countries that you're going to visit. All right, so let's talk about what happens if your passport is lost or stolen before you go on your trip. We'll tackle this a couple different ways. If you're going on a closed loop cruise out of the United States, what you can do is bring alternate information, right? Bring your original form, birth certificate, and an ID. You'll be able to get on there just fine. If it's any other kind of travel, then you're going to need to call that 877 number again, and you're going to have to report your passport lost or stolen. You're going to have to fill out what's called a form DS-11. You're going to have to show ID. You're going to have to show proof of U.S. citizenship, like a birth certificate. You're going to have a passport photo, and you're going to have proof of travel. Now, it does take time to process the lost or stolen passport. So if you're trying to do this like day of and you're flying internationally, you're probably going to have a difficult time. You're probably going to have to postpone your trip. So unfortunately, that's the process. You do have to go in person to get a new passport once it's lost or stolen. But make sure that you call the 877 number to report it lost or stolen, and they can give you further information on what you can do. But again, if it's a day or two before an international flight, more than likely you're going to have to postpone your travel plans. Now, if you do have a family emergency or a health emergency or something like that, the passport agencies can issue emergency passports, but that is on a very limited basis. If it's just, hey, I lost my passport, I'm going on a trip, they may not consider that an emergency and you may not get it. So again, call the 877 number, tell them what's going on, and then follow their directions there. Maybe you get lucky and they can help you out a little bit more, but the norm is emergency passports are really for health and family emergencies. Now let's talk about what happens if you lose a passport or have it stolen during the course of your trip. Well, this is going to be the reason why you definitely want to have the picture or the video of the passport on the phone, because that'll help you out tremendously right there, having that information. But the first thing you want to do is report the lost or stolen passport to whatever U.S. embassy or consulate is there at the country you're visiting. You want to go there and say, hey, I lost my passport and or it was stolen. They are going to give you directions on what to do right then and there. They may issue an emergency passport for you. They may issue temporary travel documents for you so that you can get back home. Then when you get back home, you got to follow those processes again for getting a replacement, calling the 877 number, following up, filling out the form DS-11, and going through that whole process of getting your passport reissued after it was lost or stolen. All right, so that's all the information I have for this right now. Remember, 877-487-2778 is your best friend. That's the number you're going to call to report lost or stolen passports and or make appointments for the passport agency's regional offices. So that's the number that you want to have. Remember, preparation is everything when you're going on a vacation. Again, I can't stress this enough. Before you get ready to go on your trip, the very first thing we put out before we pull out a suitcase is we pull out our travel documents, our passports, whatever else we need to go where we're going. We put it on the counter with our car keys, wallets, and everything is right there so we will not forget it. Make sure that you keep those passports in a safe and tidy place. Make sure you keep an eye on them while you're traveling so that they don't get stolen or lost on you. And please make sure that you take pictures and videos of those passports. It'll help you out tremendously in identifying who you are if you should happen to run into one of these issues. So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we can help you book that dream vacation anywhere in the world, make sure you give us a call, 877-697-4470. Or you can book right online, www.mr-traveler.com. We'll double check your booking, make sure that you have the very best deal. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for your love and support. We greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. And again, thanks for watching. Remember, life's short. Have fun. See the world. Bye, everybody.